Now, as some of you may know, about a year ago, I Dana 60 swapped and 14 bolt swapped my 2008 JK. And I've been wheeling it for about a year like that and beating the crap out of it. And I was going over it, and these axles have a really common issue where you have to trim this part of the housing here. And when you do that, it does weaken the driver's side axle tube to differential interface. And so what I did is I put a little stitch weld right in here, and you may or may not be able to see that, but that has a little crack in it. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pull this apart, or at least some of it apart, try to get in there with a burr, and we're gonna clear that out, preheat it, and re-weld that. It doesn't look like it's gone anywhere. There's no displacement happening. This might have actually cracked when I welded it, because welding this cast steel is a little bit difficult. I went over everywhere else. I took a wire wheel to the rest of the welds that go around both axle tubes. Neither one of them seems to be having an issue. Of course, I say that, and I found one back here. So, all right, well, we'll hit that one too. But these all survived, all of the shave kits, which is what I was really concerned about, because that's a lot of buildup, and this was really my first time welding any kind of significant cast. Anyway, this was my first time welding any real significant structure on the cast. So I'm glad that these held up, but for the rest of it, I guess I got some time ahead of me, and I'm gonna try to grind out that weld and start over. So follow along. The tool that I'm gonna use to get these old welds out of here is a carbide burr. I'm just gonna feed it in there and slowly just grind my way through it until I've got a little cavity in there that I can then preheat, re-weld, and then try to peen it with a ball peen hammer to reduce some stress and maybe post heat it a little bit. And yeah, that should hold. But everything else, I did rip off the factory Barnes four-wheel drive track bar bracket, the one that came with the kit. I guess that's a common issue on these when people do this swap with the Barnes truss. That track bar bracket's so small. So I did tear that off like the first or second wheeling trip. So now I've got an R-Tech bracket on there. I relocated it further over so I could run a longer track bar, and that matches my drag link a lot better. So that way those angles are really parallel and I don't get any bump steer. But yeah, that's about it. So I'm gonna start digging into this. First things first, I left my Alani up there. Not for the fun part. You know, a grinder might actually work better. Yeah, you can start to see that crack coming through now. I'm not sure if you can actually see that, but that's all exposed now. Now I'm going to clean up the rest of the area. I'm probably going to pull this sway bar link off, so that way I can weld it all the way around the bottom and probably do a couple of passes on it. So ideally that'll help hold it together a little bit better. These sway bar end links are also so worn out, they make so much noise. It's insane. I ordered a new set. Little hang joints on the end of these, but They are extremely noisy. You can hear that, but there's a lot of pop in there. That's out of the way. Get that off. Perfect. Alright, clean up the rest of that. It didn't look like it cracked up on top. So just that bottom area. Just got a little flashlight. Had be the operative word up there. That one up there was fine. Alright, so we gotta really clean this up and then burn it back in. I'd like to weld all the way underneath it if I can get to it. I don't have a particularly good way of getting all the way under there. Is that lower control arm brackets in the way?
Hi, baby.
Hello.
Bye.
Have you bye. That's fine.
You buying?
Huh?
You buying?
I don't even think the point of this is in there. No. Is there a file in it? Stuff it up. Oh yeah. Seems like a useful, good use of that time. None of it, actually. Or, I weld everything else. As I get close to that, it gets hot enough that it doesn't care. Because you have to heat this cast a lot. I'm going to set that there, and I'm going to lower the Jeep down to that level, and we're going to let it preheat for a while. Yeah, that'll be lovely. It's especially good for, you know, interaxle seals and things like that, but I'd rather go back and replace an interaxle seal at some point than lose the housing. All right, we'll revisit this when that's hot. That's about 300 degrees. So we can kind of see if it loads up ever. There we go. About 200 degrees. We're gonna throw a little bit more heat at it, I think. Okay, let's see how this goes. I didn't really want to weld it upside down. I thought about pulling the axle out and flipping it over to do this, but I really don't. I don't want to. It's a pain in the ass. There's a lot of air lines and hydraulic lines and everything like that that goes into this thing, and I don't really feel like digging into that right now, and I think this will be fine. Okay. We're going to do a couple of passes here. There's a terrible spot. No. Alright. Good start. Do little sections, and then I'm going to paint it with this. Try to take a little bit of the stress off of it. Post heat. I think I'm going to make one more pass on it. I got room for it. I am reasonably confident that that should hold up. I don't know if you can really see very well, but it's not the prettiest thing in the world. But honestly, welding on cast never is if you don't know what you're doing. So we're gonna let that hang out. It's been peened, it's been heated. I'm not really gonna post heat it anymore. I want to try to keep my axle seals in place. But next, we're gonna take a look back over at this one. You might not be able to see this. No, you almost certainly can't see that. But there is a little crack that's formed around this tube. So I'm going to give this one pretty much the same treatment. And we'll see how it goes. I've been getting into the going a little bit faster than I probably should see with this thing. So not super surprising. It doesn't look like it really continued. Once again, this probably cracked shortly after being welded because it probably shrunk. And it's supposed to be quite right. It doesn't go all the way, it just stops right about here. It's only about 1.5 inches long. So let's dig into it. Good news is, like, none of this has given me any problems yet, so it hasn't gone anywhere. It's just taking care of it before it becomes an issue. Can we look at the other side, or leave the other side alone? I think we leave this side alone. That looks pretty good. Alright, I'm going to throw a wire wheel on that. Clean up the rest of it. You know what, while we're in here, I'm not going to grind this out, it's not cracked, but I am going to throw another pass at it. I did weld these together when I was in a bit of a time crunch, not for any particular reason, but because I was impatient and I wanted to drive it. Now I've driven it, I realize it still sucks, so I'm in no rush to get it right. I think we're going to do the same trick with the lift and the torches we did last time to preheat that, because that was handy. Nope, not that part. That part. We'll let that run for a bit. Might be a little hard to tell, but right at the center, it's about 300 and some odd degrees, which is about where I want it. So I'm gonna pick it up and we're gonna burn through it. Actually, I'm gonna make a ground spot and then we're gonna burn through it. Ground. Yeah, it's like the one thing that I painted well. Yeah. Gloves, snips, needle scaler. Don't step on the thermal camera because you need that for work. Nice to be put to the case here. Thing swivels around on me and I can't lock it in place anymore. It's driving me nuts, but I'm also too cheap and lazy to fix it. Easy? I don't know. Probably. You don't really need to see. I need to see. Terrible. We're getting a lot of pitting. Oh man, that's I'm grinding that out. We're not playing with that. That was terrible. I don't know what happened there. By a ton of pitting, I mean there were 2 pits in it, but I don't like that. Turn the shielding gas up a little bit. I had the shielding gas set at 10. And the range is from 10 to like 25. Crank it up so that gives us a little better result. Well, that's still set on grind. Very nice. Is that good? All right, you guys can be the judge of that. It looks terrible on camera. Probably because it looks terrible in real life too. But this is my Jeep, so you can weld on your own Jeep and you can tell me what it looks like. Yeah, this is the other one I'm going to fix. There's some pitting down there. We're going to go through and fix that one up. It might not take you long for that one. There's a lot going on there, but oh, is this rattling? What's going on there? Oh no, it's still on there. But yeah, this is what I got. That's the shave kit for that 14 bolt. This one is a TMR Customs 15 bolt shave. And then this one is the Ballistic Fab Dana 60 shave. They've held up really well. There's always a little bit of like dampness around the base of the cover, but it never drips. And so I know a lot of people have issues with them dripping. or leaking. For what it is, you know, I'm not going to complain too much about it. But this is our repair on this one, and I think that'll do just fine. I got the other spots welded up. We'll see how that holds up for me, and if it gives me another problem, I'll let you know. But thanks for coming along with the journey, and we'll see you next time.